episode of Oregon Life.
Thanks for
Right?
watching this episode
of Oregon Life.
Hello, I'm Frank Russo. Welcome to a brand new episode of Oregon Life. Here is part 2 of cybersecurity with Andrew Drake. And we are thankful to produce this episode through the generous contributions of Torhorst Insurance. Torhorst Insurance is more than a sponsor of Oregon Life. Torhorst, like OCAmedia, has celebrated our community for over 45 years, fulfilling their insurance needs. Through their generous contributions, Torhorst Insurance has been a wonderful partner to OCAmedia, making it possible for us to produce episodes like Greenhaven Gardens, Keene Garlic, and highlighting the best of Oregon and surrounding areas. And that includes this episode of Cybersecurity with Andrew Drake.
Let's talk about online browsing. So everyone likes to go out and surf web pages. Maybe you're going to the coffee shop to see what the specials are, the local coffee shop, or maybe you're going to the ice cream shop, seeing what the flavor of the day is, or maybe you want to go buy a new pair of shoes and you're checking out an online retailer for shoes. Whatever it might be, we all do it all day, every day. You're going to notice a few things, and you probably have already noticed this. So two things happen when you go to a new web page, typically, and this isn't true for every website, but a lot of times you're going to see two things. You're going to see a request for cookies that's going to say, hey, this site has cookies. Do you accept those cookies? And let's talk about cookies just for a second. So what a cookie is when you think about it this way, like if you give a big cookie to a toddler and you let him run around with it, what happens? You're going to see a trail of little cookie crumbs all over that toddler, wherever that toddler goes, whatever he touches, you're going to see that trail of wherever that toddler went with the cookie. It's no different than us browsing online, right? So it's that website, that organization giving us a cookie, and then it tracks us wherever we go. It's the most simplest way to think about it. Now, generally, a lot of times, a lot of organizations, they'll have cookies that are maybe legitimate. Maybe they think, hey, I want to see what you're into. I want to get a better profile of Andrew or of Frank or of Sally, whoever it might be. I want to know my customer better. That's not malicious. That's not nefarious. But it used to be, hey, you'd fill out a survey and here it is, and then marketers would market to you that way. Now they want to they want to go this digital route to market to you. So it's not necessarily bad, but you need to be conscious about who you're allowing to track you, right? So typically, if I'm just casually browsing a website, I'm going to click no. I don't want you to give me a cookie and track me. But if it's a company that I know and I like and I engage with, and I want them to market to me in a much more personalized way, I might say yes. Yeah, you can track me. Go ahead. You can track where I'm going to go and other websites I go to and how I look on your page and what websites I go to after your page. It's not, by the way, it's not just that point in time where you're browsing that website. It goes beyond that too. So those cookies can stay persistent on your device. So just be aware of that. And a lot of times you have the ability to limit what cookies they have, what they can track about you. So take a second, go in, click I want to go into the settings. I want to see what you're tracking with me. I know it takes, maybe 30 seconds or a minute to read that privacy policy and make those decisions, but it's worth it, right? Because now you're engaging in a meaningful relationship with that website and with that company. So that's cookies. A lot of times, I'm victim of it too. If I'm in a hurry, just yes, yeah, fine, track me, whatever, that's fine. You can also go in and delete cookies and kind of clean up the cookies, which is a good practice. We can talk about that another time. But the other thing that you see on a website is not just the cookies. You're going to see a lot of times, hey, give me your email and you're going to save 10%, 15%. Give me your email and you're going to get this. Give me your email and you're going to get that. And a lot of times it's not just email. It's tell me your name, tell me your age, tell me your, tell me more about yourself. And the reason that companies are doing that is because it's harder to get that data than it's ever been. They used to be able to go buy that data. They used to be able to go out and buy a list and say, hey, I want to know who all these people are and I want to know all this stuff about them. A lot of laws have come out that have limited a lot of that activity. So now the diligence is on the company to get the consent from the individual. So the consent isn't just implied that, hey, I can go out and buy this and I can have all this data on individuals. Individuals are now owning the rights. I want to talk just for a second about some of the data privacy laws that come out. But let's talk about California because that's the one that came out about 3 years ago. It's called the CCPA, the California Consumer Protection Act. The CCPA is great. It really protects California citizens and their data. And a lot of the regulations and laws that go into that say companies have to be very diligent about what they're sharing or what they're asking for from the consumers. They can't just go take it. They have to ask for it. The consumer has to give it to them. And then it goes beyond that. Once you have that data, you have to be responsible for that data and treat that data in a very secure, very responsible way. And that data is not the company's. And this is a really important piece. The company doesn't own that data. Think of it like they're borrowing that data. The individual still owns the data on themselves. So I, as Andrew, if I'm a California citizen, I can go to them and say, hey, ABC company, I shared this data with you. Tell me who has access to it. Tell me why you have it. Tell me what you're doing with it, and delete it if I want you to delete it. They have those rights. So who has access to it? Why are you using it? You have rights as California citizens. I really hope Wisconsin comes out with that. I live in Wisconsin, so that it's going through the works. There's some legislation that's kind of working its way through now. I really hope that Wisconsin gets to that point. The EU, the European Union, has that. It's called the GDPR, the General Data Protection Act. It actually goes even beyond what the California Act does. So European citizens are really protected. I think at some point we'll probably come out with a federal one here in the US. But for the time being, going back to that website where you put in your email address and share your data with them, you need to be diligent about it. What I do, and what's a good practice, I have 2 email accounts. I have my personal email, which I won't share here, and then I have another email that I'll tell you what it is. It's spam4drake@gmail.com. It literally is my spam email account. So I'm going to put in, when I go to abc.com, or whatever website I'm going to, I'm going to put in, yeah, I'll give you my email. I want that 10% off. I'm going to put spam4drake@gmail.com. You don't know a lot about me, right? This is just my, it's my junk email. You can send all the trash spam you want there. I'm not going to check it. I'm going to go into it and grab that code that you just gave me for 10% off. But yeah, you're not going to get my personal email where it's bombarded with. And it's really simple how I differentiate the two. If I'm talking to a human and it's a human-to-human interaction, you get my personal email. If I'm talking to a business, you get my spam4drake@gmail.com email. Yeah, so really the idea is, again, it's all about consent and what you're willing to give that organization and that company that you're doing business with. It truly is a transaction. It goes back to the fact that data is currency. They're asking for something from you. They're going to give you that 10% off because you're giving them a piece of value to them. And you should think of it as such. It truly is the initial transaction that you have with that company. They're getting data, currency from you, and you're getting a discount back from them on your purchase. Next on Oregon Life, cybersecurity and how to protect yourself when you're using your computer.
Watching this episode of Oregon Life.
Thanks for
Right?
watching this
Episode of Oregon Life.